right, guys, let's get started. We're gonna kick it off. Do a couple quick announcement slides here, and then we'll get full screen for everybody on Zoom so you can see the slides really well. So bear with me until I can get back to my computer on the rest of the stuff. But welcome everybody on Zoom. Welcome everybody here. In person is winning, so that's good. Sometimes Zoom gets a huge turnout, but now that we're doing these alternative trainings in Rexburg and Cedar City, we'll be doing this very same training tonight, next Wednesday night, in those satellite offices. So for those people on Zoom that are in either Idaho or down south in Cedar City around there, you'll be getting this training in person. So I want to make sure everybody knows that. That's new this year, but it's giving people a lot more hands-on training. So huge props to our managers who are doing some traveling. Carter, Luke, Parker, Tanner, Cameron, all those guys have been awesome. So couple quick things to go over. Just wanted some housekeeping items that matter more to me than Parker, so he lets me do these. Everybody should be on Slack. You should have Slack. You should be getting multiple notifications on your phone every day that Slack messages are coming from Point. If you're not getting those, you might not have Slack set up right. If you don't know what Slack is and you're looking at me like I'm crazy, that's even a bigger problem. So make sure you're using Slack. It needs to be downloaded on your phone. And if you're not on there yet, if you just barely signed with us, you might not have it yet, but usually within a couple days of signing your contract and getting your paperwork completed, you should have an invite in your email to Slack. Get in, set up all the notifications. It's just like text messaging, the notifications push right to your phone. But we talk about housing on there, getting you guys set up in our Gusto system so you can be paid. All of our communications on trainings, events. So you don't want to miss those messages. The closer it gets to the summer, the more important that gets. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel where we post all of our trainings, but more importantly, we have live footage on the doors of our top sales reps of all time actually selling customers. Nothing teaches you better than seeing it done and then doing it yourself, right? So make sure you're checking those out. We're going to need a badge photo from every rep. So if you sold with us before, I'm going to use your previous one unless you send me a new one. And if you haven't sold with us before, I need you to send me a picture of you just looking at the camera about waist up. Any background, I can remove the background, just whatever you want to be your picture on, like our dashboard and on your badge and all of our official stuff. So just make sure you get that over to me.
I'll plug real quick for that too. Like,
yeah,
if you don't send him a photo, Darren will hunt you down, take one that's really bad, and then you'll have an ugly picture the whole summer.
Oh yeah.
So
I'll find a picture of you somewhere.
You do not want that.
Don't let me pick your picture. That's the message.
Take your junior high face, my face.
I'll email your mom. Well, dude. So the onboarding survey for new reps that this is your first time selling, you should have received. It's a Google form where you can fill out a few key things that we need you to get set up. And I've talked about most of them already, but it's just a way for you to get all that stuff done and have a checklist so you know what we're expecting you to do. That needs to be done definitely before March 1st, but please do it as soon as you get set up. We have started booking housing earlier than we ever have, which is a good thing because we're getting better housing closer to our offices, better furnished stuff, and better prices, and that's good for everybody. But I'm basing that housing on what you put your start date as in your contract. So if your start date is not right, you need to let me know. So just know that we want that to be true. Like, it shouldn't represent like, oh, I hope to get out there here, or I'm going to put this because I really know it's this. Like, that's not going to help you. So please let us know exactly what your start dates are. By default, it'll be May 1st to August 31st, unless you tell us otherwise if you leave it blank. So, okay, important dates coming up. A week from tonight, we will have a sales training, like I said, in Rexburg and Cedar City. Same one we're doing tonight, same time. Then the next one here is going to be Thursday, so that we didn't cancel your Valentine's Day plans. We're doing it the day after. So all the trainings will be Wednesdays from here on out, except for this one. So it's the 15th, and it's here. Same story, food before. Then we have our leadership training Saturday, the 24th. That will be here on a Saturday morning. Sales training February 28th. That's all of our trainings for February. We also have a fun event that we try and do every year. This will be at Provo Beach. So it's a big company-wide recruiting activity for everybody that's here local. Invite any potential recruits, get your team there. Great opportunity to get to know your people. And then, as I think everybody has heard, our recruiting goal for this year, it'll be the biggest number we've ever done, 200 reps signed, and we are on pace to do it. So keep up the great work. And we've had a great recruiting year so far and a great recruiting month. This has been our biggest recruiting month since I've ever been here in the off season. And we're on pace to sign, looks like about 30 reps or more this month. So this is everybody that's on board right now. Gonna be an awesome year. We got some really good energy right now, good momentum. So, all right, any questions for me? Then we're gonna turn it over to Parker.
Okay. On the Provo Beach thing, if you are a senior leader, just own that. I'm actually not gonna be there on Wednesday night, but we have the place. Do we can, what's our max number? Is there a max number we
No.
can have there or whatever?
We
just bring-
expect about 50, but.
Okay. Yeah, bring friends. We do there's the flow rider thing, and then you can play games, and I think we can just kind of have the whole place to ourselves and do whatever. So, you're welcome to bring friends. They don't even have to be like super interested. Like you're welcome to bring friends, and we just want to get our name out there and stuff. So that's the main objective there. I'm gonna share this, and then I have another guest appearance for you guys tonight. We're gonna do that this year. I'm gonna like team teach these trainings with some of our awesome, very talented and competent managers. So got another one of those tonight for you. But I already actually had a Tom Brady thought this year, but we're doubling down on the Tom Brady deal this year, I guess. And this one we've actually, I think I shared this one last year, but it's just a really cool story. And the whole idea that it's getting at is just like champions are made in the off season. And that might be the books that you read. It might be the sales trainings that you do with your managers. But like, I definitely believe that my best summers and the reps that do this at a really awesome level that make a really amazing money in the summer, they fight for the inches, and they just go and they find a way to get an advantage. And this is another really cool story about Tom Brady. I already shared one, but this one is just that he's playing in like a celebrity golf tournament. And I think this quote is by I think Charles Barkley was playing in this tournament. And anyway, it was like a really fun thing, right? Like this was like a celebrity golf tournament. You would think that like, Tom Brady, it's his off season. He's there to like have fun with other celebrities and network and stuff. And this quote says, "I'll never forget back in May at the golf tournament, a few hours before the tee off, Tom Brady is in the parking lot at Medalist in the rain by himself, doing the strenuous stretch workout. Charles Barkley asked him what the heck he was doing. He said, 'I'm trying to win a Super Bowl.'" And I love that thought. He was on a way different, his mind was in a way different place, and he was serious. And an off season shouldn't be an off season if you want to do something really epic in your season, right? Like all athletes, if they're really special and they do amazing things, they go and they pick up those inches in the off season. So go read awesome books, get tough mentally. A lot of this job is mental. We're here to focus on the skill set and the social component, but go level up, do hard things, and then spend a lot of time training. So these trainings are a good foundation, but they're not enough for you to show up and do this at a very high level. You need to go and supplement it with putting in the work. So any questions on that? Cool. So I'm gonna have Mr. Tanner Denning come up. Tanner's gonna help manage the Delaware team this year. He's an amazingly talented trainer, and we're gonna be team teaching tonight. So let's give Tanner a hand. Okay, so we're gonna do some review, and similar to last time, we're gonna just kind of bounce back and forth, so. I'll cover this one, sales cycle. And, our goal was to do a quiz, but I just kind of gave you a little tease, but we're gonna hand out, this is Tanner's idea, Tanner's innovating.
Yeah, we want to reward you guys for showing up prepared, right? So we just talked about Tom Brady, he's putting in the work in the off season, so like, point of these trainings is to give you guys like the basics of what we say. But your manager should be meeting with you guys and getting you prep beforehand and role playing, so.
It's like Sunday school, we're gonna hand out gifts.
Exactly, yeah. You'll get better each time.
So sales cycle, what's the first step of the sales cycle?
Initial approach.
Yes, who said that, Carlos?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Let's
Good
go.
job, bro. Second step,
Auto response.
yes. Good catch, you want another one? That was easy. Next step,
Overcoming objections.
money, good job, dude. Ooh, sorry, that was loaded.
Okay, next step after that, you guys know?
Nope,
It's part of the objection cycle.
empathize. Nope,
Soft close,
nope,
does it present?
yes.
Good work.
She's a Paulson, dude. She's a Paulson. She knows she's built for this. And then the last step of the sale. Close. Who said that? Cool. Those are some wallets, some point thread wallets, but. Okay, so to recap this, and some of you guys said like tailored response and empathy, that's like part of the objection cycle, so you were kind of right there, but. Initial approach is the first couple seconds with the customer. Then you're gonna kind of give a hook and like incite response from them. They're gonna give you one of multiple responses. A lot of times they're gonna give you some sort of objection. You're gonna overcome that. We're gonna talk about that more tonight. You're gonna present. So a lot of times it's gonna be like in their backyard or in the side, like helping them understand what the service is, the need, the value, the urgency. All three of those, it's like a soup, like you have to have all three of those ingredients in there for it to taste good to the customer and for them to buy. And then you gotta close, and closers make money. We're gonna teach you how to close with confidence. Flyer boys or flyer girls don't make money, right? Like you can hire a young kid to go and like put flyers on doorsteps, but they don't make a lot of money. That's not a very high paying job. Closing sales pays really well. And so we're gonna teach you how to do that. So that's a review. Today, we're gonna be kind of going a little bit deeper. We covered some of this stuff. We're gonna show that and maybe have some of you come and try it tonight in front of the group. It's gonna be fun. And then we're gonna keep moving through the sales cycle tonight.
Cool. So a lot of us practiced last time, right? The initial approach. So just kind of a brief overview, but it's our first 4 seconds with the customer. Okay. So we're introducing ourselves. Hey, we just finished up some work over at Mike's. So we're doing a name drop, building some credibility, the reason why we're there. And then we ask them a question to get the customer involved. Okay. So has anyone been by to let you know what's going on? Super simple, but that incites a response from the customer. Okay. So now they're engaged with the conversation. And they usually will say no, right? Usually, no one's told them. Mike has not told them what's going on. So you're going to lead right into, perfect. My trucks are in the area. And if I can fit into the schedule, I can treat your home for about half off. Okay. Or we talked a little bit about this last time, right? But if you walk up to a house and it doesn't look like there's some cobwebs up there, or like wasp nest, whatever, it's a little pest free, you can probably assume that they already have a company. So then we're going to lead with this right here. So perfect. My trucks are in the area. Who do you have coming out for your pest control? Okay. Again, we're putting the ball right back into their court. So at this point, we're going to get 4 predictable responses. Okay. The whole reason we set it up like this is so kind of like a chessboard, you automatically know that they're going to do one of 4 options. Okay. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about objections. Okay. So with the objection cycle, we had a couple people like David, list off some steps in that cycle. Okay. So the first one is empathize, tailor response, and soft close. But who can tell me, what does empathize mean? What is empathy?
Understand the customer.
Cool, to understand the customer. Seth, why is that important? Why should we, the sales rep, understand the customer?
So they can feel heard.
Yeah, 100%. Jackson,
That's what I was gonna say.
cool.
Like also, you don't wanna be like a robot. It's pretty obvious to tell if someone's robotic or not, and like it's not a good salesperson.
Yeah. I was giving this example to my group earlier, but with my wife, right? So she's a nurse in school and today she had a really tough day, like just long, she had lots of classes and she was frustrated. So she's telling me all about this, right? And how would she feel if immediately after saying all that, I said, yeah, I had a tough day, let me tell you all about it too, instead of leading with, oh man, that sucks. Like, I'm so sorry, like making sure that she felt heard, right? So if I didn't do that step, she would be pretty pissed. And the same thing is with customers, okay? If you don't empathize, you miss that portion. The customer's gonna feel like, man, why am I talking to this dude? He doesn't care about anything I say. Like, so if he doesn't care, then I don't care. Okay, so they get turned off. So empathy, super important. You miss this, then the sale basically just dies. Okay. So we talked a little bit about the soup. You have to have all the ingredients. All three of these ingredients are key to the sale. Next is tailored response. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so tailored response, like in my opinion, this is just like a fancy way of saying logic that can change the customer's mind. So obviously they gave an objection, right? We're gonna talk about some responses that come from this. One of them is an objection. If you get an objection, they have a problem, like you, or they think that they don't, that they're not qualified to buy what you're selling. So there's some resistance, right? And your goal is to, in the kindest way possible, change their mind and get them to be aligned with like what you're trying to sell, which in this case is pest control, right? So the tailored response is going to vary based off of what the objection is. So this tailored response, because we're not seeing bugs, again, it's going to be a logic statement to help them understand that you can still buy pest control in this situation with not seeing bugs. And there's actually like multiple, there's not always one right answer for a tailored response. Like there can be a lot of different awesome tailored responses per objection. So this is just one example, but in this case, it's a lot of your neighbors are getting the preventative treatment because we're doing it for so cheap and it's making sense for them. So one logic idea that might make sense for a customer that doesn't have bugs, you could kind of play the whole like, well, you could get them in the future, like future tense, right? You want to protect your place, have some peace of mind and not have to worry about it future tense. So that's the tailored response that's being used here. And then the whole purpose with the close is to ask a question to push the conversation forward. A lot of times, like when we did that when we did that review of the map, close was at the end there, right? But there's also closes kind of throughout. And sometimes closes, the whole goal is just to push the conversation forward with a question. So that's kind of the idea with this. We're going to, before we move forward, I want to have one, you want to show this? I'm going to put you on the spot. So I'm going to have Tanner show this. And then we're going to have one rookie come up and we'll give you the best wallet that we got, but we want you to come up and try this. I know it takes like total guts, but yeah, we want you to come try it. And we'll have you, I'm gonna have Tanner do this whole thing. The rookie that comes up, I'm just gonna have do this left side, just so we make it a little bit easier on you. But Tanner's gonna go, I want you to watch his body language, how he speaks, everything he does, and then just him staying pretty true to this pitch, okay? Okay, let's do it, and I'll be the customer. Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, how can I help you?
Good. I just got done doing work with John right across the street from you.
Okay,
But did he let you know what was going on?
no,
Okay.
what's up?
So I'm just a neighborhood bug guy. My trucks are in the area. And if I didn't fit into the schedule with the rest of the neighborhood, I treat your home for about half the normal price.
Okay. We're good. We don't see bugs here, so I guess we're lucky or something.
Yeah, no worries. Honestly, most of the neighbors out here, not seeing all too much. Biggest reason they have us come out is mostly preventative work, just getting ahead of it.
Mhm.
And so it just makes sense for them since we're doing it for super cheap.
Okay. What do you charge them?
Yeah, great question. What's the square footage of the home?
Nice, that was awesome. Let's give him a hand. Cool, so his close, sometimes a close is not a question, sometimes it's just a really strong statement that loops back to the discount. And that's the kind of the close you use. That was really, really good and textbook. Let's get like maybe 2 thoughts just on how that was. If you're a first year rep, just maybe some good things that you noticed that he did that you're learning about and trying to improve yourself. Yeah,
I like that he wasn't super pushy, he was kind of just laying down the facts.
yeah,
It's like, this is what we do, like, right interested.
love it. Yep. Yep, there's a book I love called Door to Door Millionaire, and one of the things that he wrote in that book is that the best salespeople, they feel like messengers to the customer. They don't feel like a salesperson. People want messages, they want information shared with them. And so that's why empathy is so important, is if you empathize properly, it makes you feel like, hey, I'm just here to let you know kind of what's going on. And then you share a really awesome logic statement to change their mind. And then you close, which is like you're selling, but you feel like a messenger to the customer. So that's a really good thought. Maybe one more. Just thing that you noticed with maybe body language or how he spoke. Yeah.
I just think he was very like confident, like you said, it was very like,
Yep.
I guess, to the point statements and like,
Yep.
like not a lot of extra words.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times in sales, less is more. And you're going to be really tempted as you're learning this to like make it your own and like, I don't want to be a robot. So I'm like going to freaking crack some jokes and add this and that. And there will be a time and a place in this sale where you can feel like you're not going to feel like a robot. But I would definitely recommend as you're learning this to stay really simple. And the best salespeople, in my opinion, use the least amount of words, which sounds weird, but you'll feel refreshing to the customer. Jackson, do you have one thought?
Yeah, I just one thing I've been telling my boys is you can memorize the script, but one thing I love listening to Tanner because he is so good at what he does.
Yeah.
If everybody is gonna be a different salesman, nobody is going to be identical as anybody else. So if you can learn it and then work it into your normal speech, it doesn't sound as robotic, and Tanner does a great job of doing that.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of fitting it to you.
Yep.
You are your own salesman, so.
And I
Yep.
love what you said there, right? Like you learn what to say first, but then you work it into your own pitch, you make it your own. And that's 100% as rookies, like we want you guys to focus on the fundamentals and then build it into your own thing. But it's simple at that point. So thanks, dude.
Cool. Okay, who's a first year rep that wants to come up and try this and be bold and let's go, dude. Love it. What's your name? Tyler, I'm Parker, brother.
Tyler learned the scripts about an hour.
Really?
Yeah, this is the first training.
Okay, man, we're gonna give you this clipboard here. First night for Tyler, dude. Let's go. Okay, so if you do need to go read this, like, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use this. That's why we have it here in front of you. So deep breath. No one's here, just me and you. Let's do it. Okay. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. How about yourself?
Good.
That's good. So my name's Tyler. We just finished up with your neighbor John over there.
Okay.
Has he been by to tell you about what we've been up to?
No.
All right, so I'm the neighborhood bug guy, and we're going around the neighborhood, and if we can fit you into our schedule, we can give you a really good discount, about half our normal price.
Okay. That was so good. Let's give him a hand. Yeah, for 1 hour of just like learning that and piecing it together and doing it in front of 30 people, that's awesome. So with this process, remember that Venn diagram thing I showed you, how we teach principles, we show it, and then we practice with support. When we do these role plays in the summer in your correlation meetings, you're gonna get tips from your managers, and I'm gonna show you kind of how that goes down. So I have 1 or 2 little things that I want Tyler to work on, and then he's gonna do it again, and you're gonna see some improvement from that. And honestly, a lot of it's just body language. I just want you to turn to the side a little bit, almost like, yep, and just put this at your hip. Like, yep, like that. You can use both hands, yep. And then when you go to do your name drops, I just want you to go point at the home and then come back to it and just like stay with me as far as eye contact goes.
Okay.
So what I felt like, it looked like a little bit was the door came open and then you kind of turned and squared me up a little bit. And then you were just kind of like talking at me like this. So I just want you to stay back, stay relaxed. And then when you do your name drops and you like point with a purpose and then come back to your clipboard. But the speed was actually really good. Speed was good. The words were good. Like it was really, really good. So I want you to do basically what you did verbally and then just run it back with a couple tweaks to the body language.
Okay.
Yeah. Do it. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. How about yourself?
Good.
Good. So my name's Tyler. I just finished working up with your neighbor John over there.
Okay.
There. Has he told you about anything that we've been
No.
doing?
What's up?
So I'm your neighborhood bug guy, and we're going through the neighborhood, and we're coming by tomorrow. And if we can fit you into our schedule tomorrow, we can give you a really good discount, about half our normal price.
Okay, how much is that?
What's your square footage?
Nice job, man. Best wallet you got, man. Good job, dude. That was amazing. Thank you for being brave and doing that, dude. That takes some guts.
He was even ready for the square footage.
Yeah, he
thing.
was
How
like,
much, so.
yeah, he should be teaching our next spot. Good job, man. Okay, so when you get an objection, okay, so that's this next piece. So when, if I to Tyler right there say, we're good, we don't see bugs, which is what Tanner showed. We just want to review, this is the last piece of reviewing. If you get an objection, there's 3 steps. You empathize, you give logic, you close with a question to push the conversation forward. The words might sound different here and here, maybe a little bit there. But it's the same principles regardless of the objection. The words will just change just a little bit so that it's tailored, right? That's why we like this word tailored is, you know, if the customer says, hey, we don't want to do pest control, we're worried about our dog and the chemicals, that's a way different objection than we don't have money right now, we're okay, right? So your logic statements need to sound very different, but there's gotta be empathy. I hear you. I totally understand. I've been there too, or whatever. Here's some logic and then a close. So, okay, so that's a good review. We're gonna get into it tonight. This is just an example. We've already covered this, so we're gonna keep moving. So tonight we're gonna talk about the 4 predictable responses that you get after you do our pitch. So the pitch is, you know, initial approach, incite a response. And then when you do that, there's 4 ways that the conversation can go, and we're gonna cover those tonight. This was a team, bunch of studs on the team. Small but mighty, they're very mighty team. That was the year that David set our company record. Okay. So here's the 4. How much? Okay, we love when they say how much, like dollar signs in your head. You should be like, sweet, like I got a how much, I got a chance with this one. We literally count how much is, like throughout the summer, we want you to be counting how many how muches am I creating on the doors? Because if I'm creating a lot of how muches, what does that mean about your pitch? It's good, right? Like if your pitch is dull, you're not going to get a lot of how muches. If your pitch is spot on, you might be getting a lot of how muches. So we count those. One of the things your manager will ask if you have a hard day and you sold 0 the next morning, like how many how muches did you get? And if the answer is not a lot, then we might need to work on your initial and how you're delivering the pitch. What are you treating for? That's another really common one. Like, what are you doing for the neighbors? What are you treating for? I have a company is a really common one. We sell in a lot of traditional pest control markets. So a lot of people have a company, maybe 50 to 60 people, 50 to 60% of people that you talk to will have a service already. So you need to get really good with this one, learning how to switch them from their current company. And then the 4th is just not interested because, right? So we kind of already covered that one. Not interested because I don't see bugs, I don't have money, etc. Okay. So these are the 4 ways the conversation can go. So this is why we love our pitch is if you do it right, you stay in the driver's seat. Like if it goes one of these 4 ways, you know how to navigate the conversation every single time, right? So how much? Here's the move. This is what you say, great question. Oh, damn, I keep talking.
You're all good, dude.
I'll do this. Why don't you take this one?
Sure. So you say great question, and then you immediately ask them a question. So what is the square footage of the home? Okay. Reason we ask that is because we do price, you know, the contract off of the size of the house, but we want to keep the customer engaged, right? If you're just talking to the customer, then they're going to lose interest. Okay. So what is the square footage of the home? You know, 2,000, 5,000 square feet, whatever. Okay. And you say perfect. And we underlined a couple things here that are fundamental to what we say next. Okay. But perfect. I just need to do a quick inspection around the outside of the home, and then I can give you a free quote, okay? I emphasize those things, and the reason they're underlined, right, is because the most common objection that we'll get, and we're trying to preemptively get rid of them, is, oh, I don't want this taking an hour, or, oh, I don't want anybody inside my house for this, Or, oh, like, I don't wanna pay for a quote, right? So by saying this beforehand, the customer's not gonna bring it up later, okay? So I just need to do a quick inspection around the outside of the home, and I can get you a free quote. And then you have a 1 second pause, and you follow it up with a close or a question, right? So is there a gate on the right or the left? What that allows us to do is make the customer choose right or left rather than saying, oh, I don't know, or give us another objection, okay? So they'll pick, and then you say, perfect, throw some shoes on, and I'll meet you in the back real quick, okay? So you'll go give that quote in the backyard, and that's where we'll start bringing out some individuality. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but that's the inspection aspect.
Money, that was spot on. Why do you think we might ask, just to fill in some cracks on that, why do we ask the square footage? Yeah. Anytime, you go to a car shop and you're like, hey man, something's happening with my car, I need some help, I need a quote on something, like, what's his first move gonna be? From mechanic, he or she, like, let's like, pop the hood, let me look at it, right? So you're giving off that same, I'm a worker out here and I can give you a number on that, I can give you a quote. So that's the first thing, and then the other piece is just like, we can't price it out until we know what the job is, right? Like, if you were to just give quotes out without taking a look or getting a little bit of a feel, sometimes people don't know the square footage of their home and they're off by a ton. And you'll get a really good feel for how to like price out a home based off the square footage, but so there's like a business piece to it, but there's also, when you ask a question right back to them, it keeps you in control. I love that part of it too. So when they say how much and they want to know, right? They're like, how much? I'm interested. And when you just ask them a question back, you keep so much control, and it's a really powerful thing. So we're gonna demo this real quick. I'll show this. And we're just gonna basically show this part. So I'll do like the discount statement, ask how much, and then I'm just gonna do this part.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am doing work for about 20 of the homes in the neighborhood, and if I can fit your home in, I can service it for about half off.
Wow, that sounds great. How much is this?
Yeah, good question. What's the square footage of your house?
10,000 square feet.
Wow, it's a mansion. I just need to do a quick inspection around the outside of the home, and then I can give you a free quote on that. Do you have a gate on either side of the house?
Yeah, we have 6 on this side.
Okay, cool. I'll find one of the gates and I'll meet you in the backyard and I'll give you a quote.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. So that's the rhythm on that. Any questions on that? Or just like why we do it that way? Or just our process on that? Yeah.
Sorry, real quick.
Yes.
Can you go over like a situation where they don't know the square footage?
Yep.
Is it a similar process?
So, in that scenario, I don't make it a big deal. Sometimes they won't know the square footage. A lot of times you'll be in like a cookie cutter neighborhood, or even if it's not cookie cutter, like you'll have a pretty good feel for it and you can just like kind of minimize it and not make it a big deal. So if I'm like, yeah, good question. Do you know the square footage of your home? And they're like, honestly, I have no idea. I'll be like, okay, no problem. I've been doing work with the other homes here and I'm pretty familiar. I'll just do a quick inspection around the outside of the home and then I can give you a free quote.
Gotcha.
And they're like, okay, cool.
So you're like, oh, I assume it's probably pretty similar to Mike's.
Yeah,
So.
play off the neighbors. Not every single sale, we'll get into this, not every single sale you make will you have to do an inspection with. A lot of this is just about us getting a chance to present. We don't force you to do an inspection. It's a chance for you to get to the next, again, you're trying to get to that presentation, need, value, urgency step. Sometimes it's just nice to get them out in the yard showing on their home. And so that's, I would say 70, 80, 90% of my sales, I'm getting them out on an inspection. So, okay, that's that one. Any questions on this? Does this feel pretty straightforward? This is where the practice stuff's gonna come into play though, right? Cause like we have 3 more responses that we're gonna be covering tonight. So now we're getting into like some stuff. You're gonna have to start keeping up. So, this is the first one. Again, we love how much is, and you want to create a bunch of these. And if you do this right, most of the time, these how muches do turn into inspections. I would say probably 70-80% of people, when they give you a buying sign, like a how much, they're down to let you like, like they're in the market. They just told you, right? So anyway, any questions? We're good. Okay. Another question that you'll get is, what are you treating for? So I like to go, great question, let me show you. Showing can be really powerful. Remember how in the first training, we talked about space zones and like the level, how close you are to people? A lot of times it can be really powerful to kind of like show things and get close to people for a little while. And so I like to take an advantage of and do that when they ask this question specifically. So if they go, yeah, what are you trading for? I go, yeah, great question. Let me show you. I slide up next to them and then I'm like educating them. You'll have these sales, you'll have like slicks where you have pictures of all the common bugs in your market. And you can get up next to them, show them like we do X, Y, and Z. I usually like to say we take care of all the, the general pests in the area. And then I go, awesome. And then you ask a question. Yeah. So you go, what have you typically seen in the past here? And you're going to do that. I'm going to show the body language because this is hard to just explain. So I'm going to kind of teach this while doing it.
What are you treating for?
Yeah, good question. Let me show you. So I slide next to him. I get in this position where I'm kind of next to him and I'm educating, and I'll pull up this bug sheet. And I like to put this in his hands or just show it right in front of him. And I educate. Yeah, so in this area, like we just do ants, spiders, wasps, like all the general stuff.
Yeah.
What have you guys typically seen here at your place?
Yeah, we get a lot of these paper wasps.
Okay, perfect. So when I asked that question, that closing question, notice how I separated that distance. It is weird to ask closing questions sometimes right next to someone. So if I'm like, yeah, what are you seeing here? Like for the most part, like it just feels like we're too close. And you'll see that at multiple moments throughout the sale, like you'll feel really like, okay, this feels weird socially. Like I'm gonna try something different, This is one of those moments. So yeah, what have you guys typically seen here at your place, Tanner?
Yeah, we get a ton of the carpenter ants.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so we definitely take care of those. And like I said, if I could fit you in while I'm out here, I'm doing it for super cheap.
Oh, wow, yeah, let's figure out what that costs.
Perfect. And then what would I do? That's a how much. So he just gave me a how much. Now I kind of created a how much from this response. So it's like a flow chart. All the other responses, we want to flow back to the.
Say that louder.
Great question. What's the square footage of your home?
Yep.
Good job.
So it's like a flow chart. I'm trying to create these other three responses that aren't how much. I'm trying to turn them into how muches. Does that make sense? So how much is like the golden goose, and we want to turn the other three responses that we don't like so much into how much is. And it's not that we dislike them, it's just that it just takes a little bit of work to get them back to the how much. So,
And again, this is a buying sign, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just confused, what's going on. You might have said something too fast and they don't even know you're doing pest control right, or they like want to figure out what specifically you treat for in regards to pest control. So this is still a great question, and by following that objection cycle, so empathy, tailored response, and then close, you'll get to that buying sign of how much, which is again money signs in your head.
yep, love it. Any questions on that? So a rookie that's never done this, walk me through the body language of what I just did.
Let's have somebody come up. Show it. Pull over.
Over, we got one of these left. Okay, so you don't have to, I think mainly I just want you to kind of talk through like.
Can you show us?
Okay, let's do it. Sweet.
Just the response to.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask, what are you treating for? And then I want you to show me what, I guess, yeah, let's just run through this with the right body language.
Just want me to get to the how much part?
Yeah, I'll ask, what are you, let's just start here. I'll just go, what are you trading for? So, yeah, what are you trading for the neighbors?
Yeah, so I can actually show you
Okay.
what we're treating for the other neighbors. So have you seen any of these?
Not really.
No. So, yeah, so right now, there's not a lot of bugs that are coming out right now. Same with like John. He's not seeing any bugs right now. We're just doing it as a prevention so
Okay.
that when they are coming, you're not having any issues with them.
Cool. That was awesome, man.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm gonna one thing that'll help you is, in my opinion, you created that objection a little bit by asking a yes or no question. So I like this question with, instead of like, what was the question you asked? Have you had any problems with this, or have you seen anything like this? A better question than that is not a yes, no question, but an open-ended one, which is, what have you seen in the past? It's an assumptive question. Very less often to that question will they say like, I don't see anything. So, so I want to try this again, and I want you, instead of the yes, no question, I want you to go, what have you guys seen here in the past? And sometimes I might even say in the past, because it's like, come on, dude, like,
I've seen bugs.
yeah, like, you just told me you've been here 10 years, like, it's like,
You ain't seen no bugs?
yeah, come on, dude. You live in freaking Delaware, you know, it's like, it's humid out here. Okay, so, yeah, what are you training for?
Yeah, so what have you guys seen here in the past?
Okay, so with the, oh, wait, you go, great question, let me show you, and then kind of banana in next to me, and then I want you to ask that question. Okay, yeah, so what are you trading for?
Great question. So let me show you.
Okay.
So out of these, what have you seen here in the past?
We get some, not a ton, but like ants and spiders and all that stuff, you
Just
know?
kind of general stuff.
Yeah, general stuff.
Sweet. So yeah, those are kind of the bugs that we're treating for, just the
Okay.
general stuff, wasps, ants, things like that.
Okay.
Close. Oh, close. Okay. So like I said earlier, is if we can fit you in with the rest of the neighborhood, we can treat your home for about.
What would you charge us if we were to do it?
Do you know the square foot?
That was awesome,
Let's
bro.
go,
Okay, what did he do right? That was awesome, dude. Thanks for doing that. What did he do right on that? On that second one, what did you guys notice? Maybe even just like, what was the difference in the vibe between the two questions, right? The yes or no versus that second one. Did you guys see how that just kind of felt like it might create a different response?
Just a more natural conversation.
Yeah, 100%. So one last thought I have on this, and then we'll go to the next slide, is like, you know, one salesperson can go in a neighborhood and sell 10 in a day or two. And the same neighborhood, another person could go in that neighborhood and sell 0 and get their butt whooped. And I'm a big believer that in sales, we create outcomes by doing the right things. There's this like temptation you'll have to where it's like, oh, dude, David and Tanner, these guys that sell really well, like they just get lucky, you know? It's you're creating luck by playing chess the right way. And so asking that question that I, you know, kind of tweaked instead of the yes, no, like, dude, those things add up and I promise you they drive positive outcomes in sales. It's amazing, and it's been way cool to see. Like, I believe in that big time, you know? So good job. That was awesome. Okay, on to the next. And that's actually what you did here, which is like so cool that you're already in this spot. Is he closed for the how much and then to the inspection. So again, we're flowing back to that how much predictable response. So you'll have some sales slicks that look something like this. And then I'll do that. Cool.
Okay, so another objection you can get, sometimes we call these like smoke screens, right? Like these are just like general, like, no, like I'm not interested. We kind of talked about this our first training, right? So you walk into Foot Locker and sales rep comes up to you, and what does he immediately say?
No, it's just like,
Yeah, what can I help you with, right? And then what do you immediately say? No, I'm good, right? Like, you just walked into a shoe store, right? Like, you might just be casually browsing, but like, you're obviously like looking for something, you know, like men's shoes, women's shoes, like athletic shoes, casual shoes, whatever, right? And so same thing with her customers, right? Sometimes they just knee jerk say no, or I think we're good, right? And so they haven't really heard about what you're talking about, what we're offering. And so same thing, objection wise cycle, we're gonna go through empathy, tailored response, and close. So response to this with the empathy is no worries, just so you know, okay? And I wanna highlight with the empathy, we're not, you know, saying it's okay that you think you're good, right? I'm not, you know, saying like, it's fine that you have an issue or an objection. I'm glazing over that, but I'm letting them know I heard them, okay? So we often do that with like this Jedi wave, okay? So it'll say, no worries, okay? Just so you know, and then you go into the logic. A few of your neighbors are already seeing some pest activity, so they want to get ahead of it while it's really cheap, okay? So logic there is, you know, lots of people are doing it. There's a bandwagon, so maybe you should consider this too because they're getting ahead. And then the close to move the sale on, because if I just stop there, they'd be like, sweet dude, thanks for letting me know, like, I'll see you next year, right? So to move the sale along, we're gonna close here with, when was the last time you had a professional service on the home? So it's a question, and the ball is back in the court for the customer to respond.
Love that.
Any questions?
How about a veteran that's not one of us showing now? That'd be cool to see, just this objection itself, I think we're good. And just like a veteran showing how to handle this objection. Hayden, let's go. Man can recruit, but can he sell?
We'll see. I'll find out. So are we just starting here?
Yep, so let's start from the top. Okay. And I'll just give you the, I think we're good. Take your time, let's do it. Cool, okay. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. What's up?
Good. So I'm Hayden with Frontline Pests.
Okay.
I just got done doing some work with your neighbor John. Did he happen to let you know I could come by?
What's up?
So we're doing his pest control coming in tomorrow, and if we can fit your home in at the same time as him, do it for super cheap.
Okay, I think we're good.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Just so you know, a lot of neighbors have been noticing some increased pest activity this year. When was the last time you had the home professionally treated?
It's probably been maybe a year or two.
Oh,
Like that.
cool. Yeah, perfect. So that was actually the same situation with John.
Mhm.
He hadn't had anyone come out in a while and is
Sure.
noticing some increased pest activity.
Okay.
Just building up in the walls.
Yeah.
What we do is a preventative service, do a few things for the outside of the home, keep
Yeah.
everything away.
Mhm.
And like I said, if I can fit you in with him tomorrow, we can do it for super cheap.
What's your price, just out of curiosity?
Do you know the square footage of the home?
Bigger than John's.
Bigger
house.
than John?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no worries. So what I did for John, what I'll do for you too, is a quick walk around inspection around the outside of the home. And I can
Okay.
get you pretty close. So
Okay.
do you have a gate on the left or the?
Yeah, there's a
side?
gate.
Cool. Throw on some shoes, meet you.
Okay, nice. That was really good. Yeah, like I don't have a ton of feedback on that. I wanna get some positive, like what did he do right? That honestly looked awesome, man. Like it's been, well, how many months since summer and looked smooth, man. Not a lot of rust there, so. What'd you guys notice that he did well?
It was super chill and
Yep, very relaxed, which I like didn't feel nervous to the customer. That was awesome, really good. Maybe one or two more?
I think he pushed through the objections, not in a way that seemed like super pushy.
Yep. If you, that's why I love our process. Empathy, tailored response, close, like. You can be pushy without feeling pushy, like it's crazy. But you can get away with it and it works, like. If you wanna sell a lot of accounts every day, like you are gonna have to sell deals where you're overcoming objections, like you have to do it. You have to get good at it. And you make a lot of money if you can figure it out.
I wanna highlight another thing, so when Parker said this objection, right, I think we're good, like, it didn't phase Hayden, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but he just kept moving on. And the reason that is because he's heard that a billion times, and that's why we put it up on the slides for you guys and show you guys a cycle, because that is a predictable response, you guys will hear like 50, 60 times a day, right? And so knowing how to overcome it and being unfazed is gonna show confidence to the customer that you actually know what you're talking about, like you're the professional, and so then they end up listening to you.
Love it. It's like baseball, you know, it's like there's a couple pitches that a pitcher can throw. Fastballs, like, you know, change up, curveball. And like, if you do enough batting practice and you've seen enough pitches, it's like, you know, the ball in the air, it's like, oh, that looks like a curveball. Like I'm gonna approach this one a little bit different, but I've seen this a zillion times, right? So it's the same mentality that Hayden has, like, it's like batting practice. You do enough of this, a customer says, we're good right out of the gates, and it's just like muscle memory, boom, such a strong, confident, empathy, tailored response, close. And if you're a veteran, you sold last summer, like, how many sales, well, I guess this is like, raise your hand if you sold a ton of accounts last summer when they gave you this, we're good, but you still sold it after. Like it happens so often. People just have that knee jerk of like, oh, door to door, we're good. And then it's like, you get this money response and they're like, yeah, like how much? Like, actually, we've been talking about this with my wife. You were like super rude at first. We're good, buddy. Okay. And they're like stoked for it. So Okay, and then always you're flowing back to the how much. You're trying to fill, so a lot of these closes and, you know, Hayden, it was like, he did that awesome empathy tailored response close. He just asked a question actually, and it just kind of engaged me. And then he shared some value, tried to kind of open me up, and then he looped back. So we call it looping back to the how much, always pushing them back to like I said, I'm here, I'm willing to do your home for super cheap. You're gonna catch yourself doing that over and over again, is looping back to that how much. And that's a powerful, powerful deal. So
Parker was talking a little bit how we keep track of those how muches, right? Over the summer, we call these first downs. So like in football, right, there's first, second, third, fourth. And we don't move past first down, right? Or this how much question. So we'll keep going back and back and back through this cycle until we hear it, or until the customer's like told us like no, like probably 3 or 4 times. And then you move on, right? That person's not ready. But most of the time, you're gonna be able to get to this question eventually just by going through the cycle. And that's our first down.
cool. Okay, last one. This is the last response, and then we're done for the night. And you're welcome to stay around after and practice these 4 responses with the veteran seller or a manager or whatever. So last one is switchovers. So just the psychology on switchovers. Switchovers in pest control are common. You will get a lot of them. They can be some of your easiest sales that you get in the summer. Why? Why is that? Why do you think switchovers, like switching from someone from one company to the next, might be really kind of simple and easy? Yeah.
It's already in their budget.
Okay, yeah. So that monthly, they've already like, sometimes you'll get the objection of like, I gotta talk to my spouse and see if we can fit this in the budget, right? You'll never get that objection with a switchover, because like it's already priced in, you know? Jackson?
There's a need.
Yeah,
So-
they see the need, they recognize it.
Yeah, you're just, at that point, you just get to talk with the company. So
Yes.
it's super fun.
Yep, the company and you, like, and which feels weird, mainly it's the company, but as you're talking about the company, they're gonna kind of subconsciously be like, do I like this guy more than my bug guy, or do I like this girl more than my bug guy? And I know that's kind of silly, but like it is a thing, and that's why switchovers can be really easy. Sometimes they can also be kind of high level and a little bit more difficult, because there has to be, you know, this isn't a customer where they're just like, bro, we have this massive need, like, I don't care who you are, right? Sign me up, right? But with a switchover, they have a person coming by their house, and they show up once a quarter, and sometimes they do like them. And so they have to love you. Like, they like their guy, they have to love you, and you can accomplish that. Like, I've had a lot of switchovers where they don't have a problem with their guy, but I just connected with them, we talked it up, and I created value in what we do different, and then I just asked them if they'd give something else a shot, if they're open to it, and people like to give people a shot, they love it. So the first step with a switchover is you want to compliment them, not on who they chose, but that they chose to get a company. Does that make sense? So there's a difference between empathizing and validating. Validating is like, dude, that's awesome. Aptive is super, that was really smart, you know? Moxie, wow, that was really, good for you, you know? That's a little too much. How about like oh, that's awesome. You gotta have someone out here. That's smart that you chose to get someone, right? Way different. So empathizing, complimenting that they have someone. Also, your body language, when you empathize on a switchover, you really need to make sure that it feels not confrontational. Like, oh yeah, you got someone? You know, like, yeah, that's why I'm here. You know, like, I want to talk about it. It's like, oh, that's awesome. That's really smart that you have someone. That's great. Like something like that, right? We call it chill bill. Like sometimes I even drop the clipboard right there. Like, no, yeah, I have active. Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's smart to have someone. You have to have someone out here. So I like to just relax my body and show them like, I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to just like be a messenger, right? And then a big thing with switchover is qualifying. Why is it important to qualify a switchover? Emily,
If you don't qualify them, you could just be wasting it.
why?
Because if they sign within a year, usually it's super hard to cancel. with
Yes.
cancellation fee.
Yep.
It's hard to get them out of it, so you're just gonna waste precious time.
Yes, so if you're on Zoom, what she said is sometimes pest control contracts usually are a 1-year deal. And if they just signed up with another company within the year, especially if it's like a door-to-door type of company, it might be somewhat tricky to get them out of it. And so you might be wasting your time. So you wanna see, if they've been with them for more than a year, green light, like you should keep spending time with them. A lot of times they have been with them for more than a year, right? Cause a lot of times it's like a summer sales company that signed them up. It's been a year, it's been a summer, and so that can be awesome. How long have they been? Oh yeah, and then before that even, you gotta find out who, right? Cause my tailored response is gonna depend on who it is, right? If it's like a local mom and pa guy, my tailored response is gonna be much different with him than it would be like Aptiv or Terminex, like one of the big, big companies. So you gotta find out who and how long. And then, you wanna take these last two?
Yeah, and then you're gonna normalize it, right? So a great example of this is like, say someone has Cricket, right? Cricket Wireless, and you're Verizon, right? You're trying to get them over to Verizon, like you wanna tell them, it's pretty normal for people from Cricket to switch over to Verizon. It's pretty normal for people to switch from Aptiv to Frontline or, Point or whatever. And so we'll say that by saying, just so you know, a ton of people, so we're maximizing the amount of people we're working with here, are jumping on with us because we are local. So here you're gonna highlight a couple of things that are key and critical to you. What separates you from this person or other company that you just learned about? That's why we asked that question. So jumping on with us because we are local and doing a lot more for a lot better value. And the reason we say that is because we just, again, compared to this other company and are heading currently. So now we know how to compare, apples to apples versus apples to oranges. And then we end again with the close. This is how we push it forward. Okay. My trucks are in the area working. If you want to give me a try and we can fit you in one here, your home would be for about half our normal price. So we're ending with the discount, which is going to take us right back to what question that we're hoping to hear from the customer. How much? Perfect.
Yep, so in all four of those responses, we're trying to push them back to the how much with kind of the close at the end, right? So I can show this last one and then we'll maybe call it a night. This is just a switch over pitch. I'll do it from the very top and then Tanner's gonna tell me that he has someone and I'm gonna do something that sounds like this, hopefully word for word. I'll do my best. Okay.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
So great.
Awesome. I'm Parker. I work with Point. I'm gonna be doing some work for Doug, one of your neighbors. Has anyone been by to let you guys know what's going on?
No, what's going on?
Cool. So yeah, I do the pest control for him and quite a few of the homes in the neighborhood. If I could fit your home in, I can treat it for about half off.
Oh, thanks for stopping by, bud, but we already have somebody treating.
Awesome. Yeah, you gotta have someone out here. That's smart. Do you mind me asking who does the home?
Yeah, it's we heard of GreenX?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. How long have they been doing it for?
Like 3 years now.
Okay, awesome. Well, just something to think about. Like I said, I'm with Point. I have had quite a few people jumping on board with us. We're local, so a lot of people really like that. And we seem to be adding a lot of value for a really reasonable price. Like I said, my trucks are gonna be in the area the next couple of days. If you wanted to try something different, I'd be willing to do it for a really big discount for you.
Yeah, I guess how much would you guys be able to do it for?
Do you know the square footage of your home?
Yeah, it's 10,000.
Okay, perfect. Here we are again. I just need to do a quick inspection around the outside and then I can give you a quote. Which side is better?
This side.
Okay, awesome. I'll meet you in the back.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Ian.
What if they don't have a gate?
Then they'll say, I don't have a gate, and you say, perfect.
I'll meet you in the back.
I'll meet you in the back. Yeah. It's less about the gate. It's more about getting in the backyard and presenting. But it's just, you don't have to use that close, right? Like the one I just used was like, which side is better? Or, I don't know, what are some other closes you guys use?
I don't use the gate.
Okay, the gate. The gate's a
Just
common
use the
one.
gate. It's easy.
Sometimes you go, which side is better for you? I can meet you in the back, But yeah. Any other questions on switchovers or any of the 4 predictable responses? Yeah,
So like, what is the normal price for the pest control? Like,
it varies on the market and we'll get into that.
okay.
Yeah, usually, $6, $7, $8, $900. It can range, dude, like $600 to $900 or something like that. I'll say it's a big spread, but it depends on the size of the home. It depends on the service that we're actually rendering.
So 10,000 square feet, I hope you're charging like.
Yeah, that's gonna be like
$1,500.
1,000. That's gonna be on the above the 900, probably.
I don't need the money.
Yeah,
If they live in a cardboard box, hopefully it's a little bit lower, right?
yeah. That's where you gotta go Robin Hood. You gotta steal from the rich on that one. Any other questions before we finish up? Key takeaways tonight. What did you guys learn before we break out and do some group stuff? What'd you guys learn tonight? Yeah,
Being a messenger.
love it. That's awesome. And that's in how you feel to the customer, how you sound to the customer. Even like some of the words, like all the communication filters, you can be a messenger in all three of those, and I would focus on doing that. One thing I'll just add though is being a messenger doesn't mean being a flyer boy or a flyer girl or just taking notes. It doesn't mean you're like the nice guy or nice girl. It just means that you feel not like you're uncomfortable to the customer, but that you're like helping them. So there's a balance there, but I love that. I love that you learned that.
Real quick, raise your hands if you think Parker was nice when he was doing that with me. Was he rude? Raise your hand if you think he was rude, alright? I don't think anybody rose their hand there. Maybe they're intimidated by you, but like, that's how we come off. It's a messenger, but we're still pushing the sale forward.
Yep.
So. Jackson, you had your hand?
Yeah, I think a big takeaway is it's something that is really easy to do, but you don't really think about it, is straying away from yes and no questions and
Yeah.
going to open-ended questions. Because subconsciously, you're just immediately gonna answer no to anything. I mean, anything you're doing. So going to open-ended questions is gonna be a huge one, especially for me.
Yeah, I love that.
You avoid shooting yourself in the foot when you don't ask yes or no questions, right?
Yep, there's a time for them, but there's very few moments where you wanna go yes or no, like, what's a good yes or no?
Have you seen any bugs?
It's not a good yes or no. There are yes or no's. What's a good yes or no? I feel like we use some yes or no's, but.
In presenting, I think there is, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, you wanna build the yes account in the backyard, so
Yeah.
would you like me to treat? your
Yes,
pet?
love
Right,
that.
Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, when they're kind of vibing with you and you feel like you've got some momentum, they can be a positive thing. Like to Parker's point, like building a yes account, like, hey, would you like me to do the garage as well? And you feel like they're kind of like, you're building momentum with them. A couple of yeses can be a positive. Yeah,
On Zoom, good example of yes or no is, asking about pets, so we can tell them to stay for pets.
Mm.
Like, get a pet.
yeah,
Greg, this is perfect for your dog.
yeah,
Say,
sure,
kids, yeah. No, I don't know how many kids. Well, we can be ready for them when we do get them.
yeah,
Either way, you're good, right?
yep,
It's a yes or no question that either a yes or a no still furthers the sale, gives you something else to talk about.
yeah, that's fair, yeah. Yeah, I like it. What else? Like takeaways, yeah,
My last thing you said, just to push it all the way back to the how much.
yep,
We're trying to make that
yeah.
our goal.
Yeah, keeping that top of mind always is super important. Sometimes you lose track, like, where am I in the sale? Like, I don't even know what to say next. When in doubt, close for the how much. Like, seriously, I always teach people that, like, if you're like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing right now, I'm just like, yeah, like I said, Bob, I'm gonna be here anyway. If I could fit you in, let's go have fun. Like, how much? Okay, we're back. Back on track. Like, sometimes that's like the best thing to do. Unless you've gotten to how much already, then it'll be super weird to do that, but. Okay, and any last key takeaways? Yeah,
Probably showing empathy and then just like spin out the facts.
yeah, love that. Empathy is super important. It allows you to get into a position to change their mind. Yep. Anything else? What do you guys want to work on? Like, what can we improve on? You individually, if you've done any work, like individually practicing this stuff, like what do you feel like you can work on to improve? Yeah,
I know personally, I've gotta stick to the script.
Script.
Stick to the script,
Yeah.
yeah, it's.
yeah, staying simple. Stay simple, and I would invite you to start there. Like, I would rather you err on the side of being a robot a little bit at first, and then work back to who you are after that. if you're just shooting from the hip, like, it turns into just kind of a circus, like, use these predictable responses. If you do the pitch, you'll stay in the driver's seat. How much? Oh yeah, I know what to do there. What are you doing here? What are you trading for? I have someone. No, because, right? Like, but if you're leading with just like yes or no questions out of the gates, it's just like, you've lost control, right?
And
So,
veterans, raise your hand, like, if you guys stick to the script, like, do you guys do your own thing, or like, is it pretty similar to this? Raise your hand if it is pretty similar, right? It's like all the guys that are like selling high level, like, they're doing exactly what we're teaching here. They're not like making stuff up on the side, so.
yep. So, okay, awesome. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Let's hit some practice, get in small groups, you can kind of spread out, and we're grateful you're part of our fam. So